Hi guys, it's Mrs. C here with Cycle 1 Week 16 ideas for introducing new grammar. We're going to jump right in. As usual, I start with geography. This week we have the African waters. So I went around and pre-labeled the rivers and Lake Victoria for my students just because we have the colored maps in my class and they're kind of hard to find by themselves, and so I just had them labeled with different colors. Obviously I did the orange river orange, and then I had the Congo River was blue, the Zambezi River was red, Orange River was orange, and then Lake Victoria I just circled in black. So I'm going to introduce them. The Congo kind of looks like a really fun roller coaster. So we went Congo and then pretended like we were going down. We just took our finger and traced it like we were going down a roller coaster. The Zambezi River went Zambezi. We just followed and just kind of made our voice do what the river was doing. Orange River, we ran our finger back and forth and did Orange River, Orange River, Orange River just really fast. And then Lake Victoria, we said it very proper, Lake Victoria, just because it sounds like really proper. So that's what we did. We just went over them a few times. I did them with dry erase markers. So after the first time of going over them with their fingers, the kids had erased them, but that was okay because they just helped them find them the first time. Then they were having to find them again themselves the rest of the time. So that worked very well. So that was geography. For English, we're adding on to our helping verbs. So last week we started off our song. The beginning of the song is the definition of the helping verb, and then we're adding helping verbs. So the song so far is help another verb assert an action, being, or existence. Helping verbs make lots of sense. The second verse is helping verbs are do, does, did, has, have, had. That's what we did for today. So we just added in has, have, had. I had the kids say has, have, had really fast. We said it slow. We said it in a little mouse voice, and we said it loud, and then we did it like a volcano because we're talking about volcanoes this week. Speaking of volcanoes, for science, we had our 4 types of volcanoes. We just did hand motions for these. So we had active, and we ran in place really fast for an active volcano. Then we had intermittent, because you're not constantly in motion, you're just doing motion every once in a while. So intermittent. We had dormant. And then for extinct, we just fell on the floor and we were extinct. So again, we had active and we ran in place. Then we had intermittent, dormant, and extinct. And we fell to the floor. So that's for science. For Latin, we've got our first declension noun endings again, and like last week we did duck, duck, goose, and I finished up the other half of the class that didn't get to go. We kind of ended up, because a lot of our other new grammar strands were not taking as long, we went ahead and let everybody do it because I was missing a few students today. So everybody did get to give it a turn today. If you haven't ever seen how you do duck, duck, goose with Latin, basically, as you are singing through the declension endings, each ending is tapping someone on the head. So we have I am, and they're walking around tapping on the head as you say it. With the little, sometimes they're not tapping a rhythm, that's fine. Just sing along and they tap on the head, and whoever's head is tapped at the end of singular first declension, that's who gets up and runs around. So that's what we did for Latin. For history, we were still sitting in the floor for this because we had just done Latin, and we stayed sitting in the floor, and we said Olmecs, Mayans, and Aztecs a few times just so they were hearing those words without singing it, because sometimes they think they're saying something different than what they are in the song. So we said through those, and then I did a few hand motions with them, but we mostly just kind of sat and sang in the floor. So we had the Olmecs, just like we do in our timeline song. So we have Olmecs, and then for Mayans and the Aztecs, we kind of used our hands to draw the temples that they built, again, just like in our timeline song. So Olmecs, Mayans, and the Aztecs. And then we have 3 of the advanced, and I just did a C for civilizations. If you want to do advanced, like last week, you can take your arm and advance it forward. So advanced. Civilizations of Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica is like Middle America. So I took my hands interlocked and just kind of rubbed them around my belly, my middle area. So Mesoamerica from 1200 BC, 1500, and then Olmecs, Mayans, and the Aztecs. Okay. For math, we are now into our geometry. And every year for geometry, I sing the geometry song. If you don't know it, I just found it on YouTube. But it has stuck with me since my first year, and it works well, and it helps me remember all of them. So that's what we are doing. So we have the area of a rectangle equals length times width. That's what we have for this week. Again, you can look it up, but the song goes, the area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a squared equals length of its side squared, side squared. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. So that is the geometry song. We'll just add on to that every week, but for this week we had the area of a rectangle equals length times width. And that's what we did for math. Then we have timeline. So timeline, we are into the age of industry. So you're gonna take your fingers and put them together kind of like they're gears moving back and forth. So age of industry, and then circa 1760 to 1969. I don't try to do the date hand motions with my kids. One, they don't have to know them from Memory Masters, and two, it's very complicated for them to get and touch the right fingers for all of that. So if you're interested in knowing those, you can go on to CC Connected where they do the weekly timeline videos, and she will tell you how to do those. But for that, we just still continue to do our gears for the age of industry. Okay, then we have James Cook. So we're going to make a J, which is your pinky up, and you sweep it, and you're kind of drawing a J with your pinky. James Cook, C for cook. Sails to Australia and Antarctica. We're going to take our hand, I think it's something like this. I just told my kids to do like this. This is your boat, but I think actually this is the sign, the ship, you're making this. Okay, so sails to Australia and Antarctica. And then we have American Revolution, and you'll notice, especially as we start having some American history in here, that we don't sign for America, and I think that's because we are American, so we signify when it's in other countries. So we just do revolution. This is actually the sign for like this, the earth revolving, I almost said the sun revolving around the earth, the earth revolving around the sun, which isn't exactly the type of revolution. I think the sign for that type of revolution, for the type of revolution we're talking about, is actually looks like this, something like that. It's very similar to this, but because this is the official sign, we're going to do this. So American Revolution and General George Washington, we're going to make a G for general, and we're going to show all of the medals and badges of honor that he would have had on his coat. So General George Washington, Madison's Constitution, just like we've done for other laws, we're going to make a C for Constitution. We're going to hit our palm and then down kind of like right at our wrist and forearm. So Madison's Constitution. And the Bill of Rights, you're going to have this palm, your left hand flat. Your other hand is going to be kind of like a blade, and you're going to come right in the middle and then just kind of go up like this. So Bill of Rights, like that. So Madison's Constitution and the Bill of Rights, okay? And we have French Revolution, so we are going to signify that it's French, so we're going to make like an OK sign, and we're going to kind of fling it off to the side because we're fancy when we're French. So French Revolution again. And then the Second Great Awakening is pretty easy to decipher. So we have 2 for second, and then eyes closed and open for awakening. The Louisiana Purchase, you're going to hold a big stack of money and give it to the person because you're buying something from them. So Louisiana Purchase. And then Lewis and Clark were explorers. So we're going to explore, but then they were also finding things. So you explore, and then you point at wherever you want to. You can point at your friend, you can point at the cobwebs in the corner of my dining room. So that is all for timeline. And that was all we did today. I don't know, every year I get to week 16 and all of a sudden like it only takes me a few minutes to plan and I kind of freak out, but it was an easy week this week, and I'm thankful for that because this is the time of year that we could all use an easy week, I think. So anyway, I hope you guys have and a good week this week. We are actually having a break week next week. I know, crazy, but we have a thing here in Indiana called Teen Pact, which is an opportunity for our students to go up to the State House. They actually can get a government credit for it. They kind of get to see how the government works on a state level, and it's a really cool opportunity. And since we have challenge here, we take the week off so that they can go and participate in that if they'd like to. And also, it's just a time of year when you need a break. So I will not be back next week, but I will be back the next week with week 17. And hope you guys have a good weeks until then. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.